Kody hasn't changed. Meri and Robyn's fake friendship exposed. Robyn and Meri don't like each other. Robyn and Kody's infidelity with Meri. Kody and Robyn's family war. Hello, everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day after watching these videos. Stay with us to see the excellent news of sister wives. Please hit the subscribe button and watching this video. Last week, Tony and Meri Brown, the daughter of Kody and Christine Brown, went live on their Patreon, and they are reviewing Season 2 Episodes 10 and 11. And during this episode, they disclosed a little bit of a few more details about what's been going on with the family since the tragic passing of Garrison Brown back in March. And as many of you know, there has been a pretty significant divide in the family for several years, with so many kids completely estranged or estranged from Kody, not wanting to associate with him. In the previous Patreon video, Meri hoped the tragic loss of his brother Garrison would help the family heal a bit. The trauma that occurred over the last few years after Christine left, after the family split up. Maybe the kids could come together. Maybe the family could come together. Perhaps Kody will be eager to reunite with his children, to reunite with the people in his life that he's been pushed away from since he became Robyn Brown's legal husband. And it seems, according to what Meri said, it didn't change anything. In fact, when someone asked him in his chat about the difference between his father in Season 2's today, he said that the incident ran in the family, and many she assumed would have brought them together, and it didn't. So Kody has not made any changes. Kody doesn't seem to want to make changes, and Kody and Robyn are still doing their own thing outside of the whole family. Now, another thing I wanted to discuss was that back when Garrison passed away, Meri talked on his Patreon about how there were going to be a variety of different celebrations to celebrate his brother's life, including some events that were supposed to happen in Wyoming that he said were going to happen in June or July. It's summer, and it sounds like Kody and Robyn are in Wyoming right now, but they're actually in Wyoming for a Brown family reunion. But he's not there, and the family's not there, and it's just like Kody and Robyn are there. So this planned celebration that they were going to have for Garrison in Wyoming with Kody's family doesn't have any of Garrison's siblings attending. It almost feels like kind of strange if you think about it, because Kody could theoretically be having the celebration for him, and none of the people that were the closest to him would even be there. It almost feels like it's just for show, or maybe it's for the extended family. But even so, if extended family were going to have something for him, you would think that they would want to include those closest to Garrison. Last week, I told you about how he was spotted. Kody was spotted with Robyn in Kody, Wyoming, and how they were at a movie theater. And I had talked about how they were close to where he grew up in Powell in Lowell, Wyoming. And they do have what's called a shindig for the church every single year in Wyoming. It's actually an AUB event. They do an event where anyone from the church can go to the Powell, Wyoming headquarters of the AUB, and they have festivities. It also seems to coincide with the Brown family reunion. I don't know if the two are actually related or not. It could be for the church. It could not be. Either way, he's in Wyoming, and none of the family went there with him, which makes me wonder if it's church related. Because Kody and Robyn still maintain good relationships with people at church, they may be willing to go to a family event in Wyoming, where other family members may not be. There could also be a situation where other family members weren't invited to the event. And Meri commented on how he didn't go this year. But I don't think she went last year, because I know they went at the same time last year, at the same time, to coincide with the shindig. And I don't think she went then either. I just think at this point, Kody and Robyn do what Kody and Robyn do. And it's really ironic if you think about it, because last season Robyn said that she really had felt like she had been voted off the Brown family island. But it sounds like Robyn and Kody are the only ones that live in the Brown family in terms of like the origin of where Brown comes from. Kody's family, his mom and his siblings in Wyoming. So really everyone outside of Robyn and her kids have actually been voted off of Brown family island. Meri was asked these questions in relation to TikToks recently done by her cousin Ben, and if this is causing issues in the family, to to which my Kelty didn't really know a whole lot about these TikToks. Couldn't answer any specific questions, and that's how this Brown family reunion came up. Incidentally, I highly doubt that Ben is at the family reunion too. He doesn't seem to be going to Wyoming frequently, but I don't know. Either way, she doesn't have any issues with Ben, doesn't know what he's saying on TikTok, but doesn't have any issues with Ben. So that's how the Brown family reunion came up. And so while Kody and Robyn are traipsing around the United States, and they're in Wyoming for a Brown family reunion, I was watching this, Patreon, and I noticed something that my Kelty was talking about in relation to Meri and into Robyn. And it was just a few snippets of information about the finances in the family and some of the choices made in the family that never made much sense to him, and all he held was resentment. Now, there seems to be a lot of family issues in Meri's case. Meri was a legal wife and Meri had access to the lion's share of money, same budget as everyone else, but only one child. And on the show, Meri justified it that she would have as many kids as she could, but she just wasn't able to. So she should be entitled to the same amount of money. And when it came to my Kelty's point of view, that meant that she didn't get the same access to food or to clothing or to life that her sibling Leon did when it came to Meri and Kody. So because Christine had 6 kids, my Kelty wore hand-me-downs. She didn't get to drive a nice car when she was a teenager. She had to pay her own way for things. She had her clothes with her clothing was more like tattered and not as nice. She had to share bedrooms. She didn't get the same kind of privacy. And then when it came to Leon, she said Leon got to drive. I have a Lexus, and I'm assuming it was Kody's old convertible, and that Leon got access to brand name clothing. There was never any issues with food in their home. There was just income disparities because of Meri getting the same budget as everyone else, but only having one child. And love it or hate it, that was their reality. And she said that my Kelty said she doesn't hold anything against Leon because it's not Leon's fault. It was just a situation that they were in as kids, and she doesn't even blame the parents. I guess I would blame the parents because they knew what was going on, and they obviously kept having children even though they couldn't afford them. But I guess I'm not surprised because Meri is the legal wife. And I think what Michael is not taking into account is that Kody, when he's getting a house for Meri, he's getting a house for himself on paper because it's legally his wife. And so he has an image to maintain and an image to portray. And so if he wants to claim that he's a well-to-do guy, yes, Meri gets a nicer home. But Kody's not going to push back at that because Kody's going to be on the same lease with her. He's also going to be on the mortgage with her. And he was on the mortgages with her until he divorced her and married Robyn. And now when it comes to Robyn, again, when it came to getting housing for Robyn, he neglected Janelle because Janelle's not his legal wife. And who is? Robyn and who? Where does Kody want to live? In a house with his legal wife. And so Kody got a nice house for him and his legal wife. It's really, to me, not so much about the fact of it's the legality of it all. It's the inequity of it all. It's that women that don't have legal rights do not get the same benefits as the legal wives in these marriages. They will say that they do not have disparities, but it's obvious. And then you have to add the fact that Christine's kids were never claimed by Kody on any of his taxes, nor did he sign birth certificates for them. So Christine's kids are sort of just the invisible children. They're not even his, like they are not legitimate to him. He doesn't claim them. There would be. I don't know how anyone could come out of that without resentment. I just don't know. I'd have to be a bigger person than I would be 100% angry at my father. I also don't know how you would get out of that and not be mad at your parents. I think my Kelty shows a lot more grace in this situation than I would. And I'm not necessarily mad at Christine because Christine is, a victim in all of this too. I am more mad at Kody, to be honest. And I'm also frankly just annoyed that legal wives will allow this to happen. But at the end of the day, they don't have as much say as you think they do because men, like in Meri's case, can force divorce and they don't have a leg to stand on. And Meri was forced to divorce Kody for Robyn. So another thing that he talks about is when they were in Vegas, before they bought their house and built them up. At the cul-de-sac, she pointed out that Meri had the opportunity to live in a house that would have been really close to Robyn, and that Meri wouldn't have to live a mile away from everyone else. But Meri refused to lease a house near Robyn because Meri did not like that house, and the house she found a mile away. And the home that was next to Robyn wasn't as nice. It wasn't as kept up, according to Mykelti. It was still 3 bedrooms, and it had a decent amount of space. It was less expensive. It would have been better for the budget for the family, but because it wasn't as nice as what Meri wanted, she refused to live there. But Mykelti also speculated that part of the reason he wasn't there was because he didn't want to be close with Robyn, which Mykelti pointed out on Patreon, saying that if Meri and Robyn are as close as they are, why would Meri want to live with Robyn if they have this fantastic relationship as they say they do on the show? Why wouldn't they want to live by each other? Well, the implication here is that Meri, 1, didn't want to be around everyone else because she didn't want to see what everyone else was doing. She wanted her own autonomy, her own space. But also, I think Meri didn't want to see what was going on with Kody and Robyn. I think if Meri would have lived too close to Kody and Robyn, she would have seen what was happening there and would have seen the disparities in her relationship. And as she can be further away from all of it, she doesn't have it in her face. So Meri had the chance to live by Robyn and declined. She had an opportunity to spend less money, but she declined, and she instead chose a home that was more expensive, took more money from the family, and led to more of the kids, again, not getting what they needed because Meri was getting more. Mykelti made the point that Meri was calling it a perk to her or to the other moms. But Mykelti said it's not really a perk when you have 6 kids. Like it's just something that you need. Like they needed those bedrooms because they had all these kids. Meri didn't need all those bedrooms. It's a completely uncomfortable topic to discuss when it comes to finances. I don't know how I would do it because I'm not going to live in this world. But Mykelti had lots of feelings about it. It just goes to show you how Meri's position is. I would have had these amount of kids if I could have. And she's still not Mykelti blaming her father for being, this is his legal wife. So of course he's going to do what his legal wife wants because she has preferential treatment. And plus, if he gets a nicer house. So does Meri. So it also could be that Meri didn't want that house, and neither did Kody. Maybe Kody wanted the nicer house too. Because by the way, Kody likes nice things too. But I think there was benefit to having her away, and Mykelti said that even though Meri said that the houses would be used for family events, they rarely ever were. He said they had things they filmed for the show, like they would use the rooms for filming because Meri's house was clean. But she didn't have more kids than she had before because she had a bigger space. And she said that people weren't necessarily invited over to Meri's house or welcomed over to her house. So it was a lot of saying the right things for the cameras, but not in reality how it played out in the real world. So Meri's issues are she took money from the family that others needed. It deprived kids from having clothing that would have been newer. Her child got things that the other kids didn't get. And it just again sort of proves what we've always said about polygamy is that the legal children are treated better. They get more perks, they have legitimacy. They have theoretically a mom and dad that are quote UN quote married. Whereas everyone else is being hidden. They are the leftovers. They are the illegitimate, and that can't be an easy way to live. I can't imagine growing up that way. And that's why, to me, polygamy is such a travesty. And it's abuse against women and children because no man would ever allow themselves to live that way. But they'll force their wives and their kids to live that way because that's what they want for heaven or whatever sex. So Kody and Robyn have not reunited with the family. There is an event going on, a family reunion where nobody's invited and only Kody and Robyn are there. And Meri and Robyn's relationship wasn't as close as it seemed. And Meri didn't want to live close to the family and the family didn't want to live close to her because Meri took all of their money. That's basically what I got from Mykelti's Patreon. If you've got something you'd like to add, anything that you'd like to share, make sure to leave some comments in the comments below. If you have questions, leave them too. If you haven't given this video a thumbs up yet, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. And make sure before you go to click the bell so you never miss a video and you set your notifications to all. I'd appreciate so many of you for tuning in today and listening to this video, and thank you so much. Bye, guys.